Save 15% off of your order at doer.ca by using the code JesseBlake15, that's my name, 15 at doer.ca. Save 15%. Doer, if you're not familiar, they make the world's most comfortable pants. They have extremely stretchy denim that's perfect in the workplace or when you're on the go, a nightlife. It's super comfortable, super breathable. No longer do you have to sacrifice performance when you want to dress up or style when you're on the move. Doer is also Canadian, which is very important because we should all support Canadian companies like Doer. So go to doer.ca, that's DUER.ca, use the code JesseBlake15, get 15% off of your order. Think you know what way it's going to go? Make your bet at Sports Interaction. The Super Bowl is this weekend, and you can make your bet on sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. Bet pregame, live in play, or on one of their many prop bets. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Join now and see all that sports betting has to offer. Want to bet? Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. 19 plus. Please play responsibly.
The Jesse Blake Sports Report with Jesse Blake. Powered by Sports Interaction. Want to bet?
I don't know if those of you watching this podcast on YouTube can see my nose and how red it is, but I've been blowing my nose all day because I'm a little stuffy and I kind of sound like this. So I apologize if I sound a little stuffy while I rant for a second about this ridiculous Raptors trade deadline day. Masai Ujiri, Bobby Webster, and the Raptors' entire front office, they're on the verge of their biggest mistake ever of this era, whether you want to call it the We the North era, the post-Kawhi championship era, the 10 years that Masai has been here era. This could be the biggest oof, the biggest oh boy, the biggest oh no, the biggest unforgivable mistake of this Raptors Masai Ujiri is in charge era. He's had a flawless tenure as GM, making the DeRozan trade, winning the championship, getting some assets in a sign and trade for Lowry, drafting Scotty Barnes as a surprise pick when nobody expected that, having an overachieving team last year that looked like it was one big scorer away from at least winning a couple rounds and competing with the 76ers there in the first round. It's been a really flawless tenure for Masai. When you get a ring, it's perfect. That's all you ask for. But this year's been a lot different. Trade deadline day yesterday. To get to this point, we have a season where Siakam's been run into the ground by Nick Nurse. Siakam doesn't get voted in the All-Star game, which just added salt in the wounds. Now the guy can't get a max extension, doesn't qualify for a whole bunch of contract stipulations just through ridiculous all-star voting. So we have that. We got OG, who has been completely unhappy all season long, or at least for a couple months, and we've had enough sources report on it. We've had enough people confirm it that we know that OG's unhappy in Toronto currently. We'll see how that goes moving forward. Fred VanVleet is a free agent at the end of the year. He went 2 months without being able to make a shot. He lost his ability to shoot. They took it. The Monstars took it in Space Jam. Fred VanVleet couldn't make a bucket, and he's going to be a free agent. He's just been burning money. Gary Trent Jr., also a free agent, might not be able to afford him if they don't want to go in luxury tax. Young player, very talented, but who knows about Gary if he wants to come back to this Raptors team. Scotty Barnes has at times looks not dissimilar to a earlier Ben Simmons type where you just play him around the rim. Isn't really trusting his jump shot at all. It's been a shaky season, and the fan base has been the most outraged. And Masai's been sitting there doing the Masai thing, exercising patience. And today, he exercised the most patience he's ever exercised by not doing anything and instead buying at the deadline and getting Jakob Poeltl back from the Spurs. Former Raptor comes back. They traded a first-round pick, 2 seconds, and Khem Birch for Jakob Poeltl. That's where we begin with the mistakes. The Raptors were only one of 4 teams to trade a first-round pick at this deadline. The Suns did it, and they got Kevin Durant. The Lakers did it. They got D'Angelo Russell, Beasley, and Vanderbilt in the deal. The Knicks did it for Josh Hart. And then the Raptors did it for Jakob Poeltl. Now, part of the reason the Raptors had to give up a first-round pick, a lot of people have been talking about this, is because they threw Khem Birch in the deal. Khem Birch had a bad contract, and he had to go in the other part of the deal, plus the 2 seconds, plus the first, and they got rid of that deal. But the other part of that deal is that Masai signed him. Masai signed Khem Birch after the awful Tampa season. He handed out this ridiculous mid-level exception to Khem Birch for no reason. And now he had to move that deal and get Poeltl back and get what he thinks this team needs, which is a rim defender, somebody, a big-bodied person who can stand at the rim on the defensive end and protect the rim. Poeltl's a free agent at the end of the year. Poeltl could just walk. The Raptors could have just given up a first-round pick for somebody who's going to get them to the play-in tournament. And if you get to the play-in tournament, what is this team going to do? Lose to the Celtics in the first round? They go out and they acquire Jakob Poeltl so that they can lose in the first round of the Celtics after winning the play-in tournament. Whoopee. They're also going to let Fred walk for nothing if he doesn't want to come back. They chose, Masai and Bobby chose to not trade Fred to see what they're going to do for the rest of the season and try and play it out with them. They chose to not trade Gary to also possibly let him walk at the end of the season. One thing that Masai said in his post-trade deadline press conference today is that everything we could have done today, maybe we could do in the summer. That's alluding to the big deals. Hey, if this team doesn't have it, we blow it all up. We trade Siakam. If this team doesn't have it, we do it. We trade OG. But Masai, that's just not true. That's just not true. Not trading Fred and not trading Gary now is a waste of assets. That's not something you can do in the summer. Trading Fred in the summer is not trading him now. So what are we going to do? We're going to play out the rest of the season and we're going to get to the same point that we're at right now where we know this team doesn't have it. I get exercising patience, but all you're doing is wasting assets. All you're doing is wasting Fred's time here when he could have been moved somewhere else and you could have got something back in return. One thing, I'm not the brightest lad when it comes to numbers, but one number I do know is that any number above 0 is more than 0. And getting anything for Fred and Gary as opposed to getting 0 is more than getting 0. And if you have the opportunity to do that deal, you might as well do it. And I might look like the dumbest Raptors fan in 3 months from now. Let's say the Raptors somehow go on a miracle run, climb up to like 6th or something, win a round. It would be crazy. But I just don't see it. And like, even for the side that they took in the we're going to buy side, why Poeltl in the first? Why not go get somebody like Luke Kennard, who the Raptors have had no shooting all year? Luke Kennard went for 3 second-round picks. The Raptors spent 2 and a first and Khem Birch to get Poeltl. You're telling me you couldn't go get better rotation players than Poeltl for less? I don't like the deal. And if we end up here in July, in June, and Fred and Gary decide to walk and it's D-Day and then OG gets traded and who knows about Siakam's future and it's just Barnes and a bunch of kids, that's an unforgivable mistake. That is an unforgivable mistake for not pulling the trigger today and moving those contracts. We know what they are. I don't think the fans can see whatever Masai and Bobby see right now. I understand you want to give the young guys a chance, but if they don't have it right now, we're just going to end up the same place we are on February 9th as we are come first day of free agency. And at that point, you're not going to have any assets to move in Fred and Gary. And those assets are going to be gone. And I don't know how you justify a mistake like that when everybody could have sat here and said, hey, do the deals. 1 is greater than 0. Get something back instead of hopefully re-signing them, running it back again with an aging point guard and lack of superstar talent. I hope I'm wrong about the Raptors. Like I said, I could be the dumbest Raptors fan 3 months from now, and this team could be completely different. Masai could have been right to exercise patience. I don't see it playing out that way. I hope I'm wrong, and that's it. Today has left me disappointed as a Raptors fan. I just want to get that off my chest. I'm nervous for the next 3 months in this offseason. They could blow up the team, and we could all be sitting there and say, hey, why didn't you do it in February? That's it for me today. Thank you for being here. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be watching this right now, and I appreciate you. Have a great day. Go Raps, go. Hope they turn it around.
And that is how it's done.
The Jesse Blake Sports Report with Jesse Blake, powered by Sports Interaction. Want to bet?
Jesse Blake, the guy that likes to hear his name twice in one sentence. Sure, I know him. No, he doesn't have an ego at all.